So let's talk about a challenging topic this morning, which is dealing with hardship. I don't need to remind you that it's something none of us can escape, and we all have our ups and downs, our good days and our not so good days. And obviously, there's no fairness to how that gets distributed or how much hardship any one of us or any one person experiences. I mean, the range is huge. And yeah, often we do create our own circumstances which create hardship, but overall, I think much of it happens with things over which we have no control. We may be one of those unfortunate people that, not unfortunate, one of those fortunate people who have had little hardship in our lives, but then we could get blindsided by something, which is why in our practice we put so much emphasis on equanimity, because equanimity builds the resources to have in our toolkit when hardship shows up. I love this quote from Walt Whitman, where he says, the more one has shivered in the cold, the better one can appreciate the warmth of the sun. The more troubles one has experienced in the world, the better one can understand the true value of human life. So he's talking about, shivering in the cold is sort of preparation for adversity, and then really able to have gratitude for for when the sun comes out. And the good news is because of the law of impermanence, hardship rarely lasts forever. It may last a long time, but it rarely lasts forever. And this is just to remind us when we think about impermanence to not give in or give up in the face of hardship. It's very easy when we're gobsmacked by that, but we want to remember that our practice and the teachings of the Buddha are what sustain us during hard times. We do this work to be ready for when the suffering really hits us in the face, because sooner or later it's going to happen. It can either batter us around, beat us up, or we can use the skills learned from our practice and from the wisdom of the Buddha to establish some degree of equanimity and resolve. Just as an aside, I really worry about how much modern parenting styles, which tries to spare children any hardship, such as disappointment, failure, and so forth, really leaves them ill prepared for the storms of life. I didn't enjoy any of the challenges, the trials, the tribulations of my crazy family growing up, but I appreciate how all of that helped prepare me for some of the challenges that I've had to face as an adult. It's that old thing about, you put the iron in the fire to harden the steel. So, and failure can be a powerful teacher. I mean, it can also defeat us, but if we see it as a teacher, we can grow and benefit from challenges, failures, disappointments, and the like. And yes, we need connection and relationship along the way. None of us can really weather hardship alone, and I don't recommend that. That's why we have community. That's why we have Sangha. We come together, we support each other. I was talking to someone the other day about they were dealing with someone who was really going through challenges. What should I do? What should I do? And I said, sometimes all we have to do is just show up and be present and listen. I mean, that alone really is a powerful way to respond to someone else's struggles. This Japanese quote I ran across preparing the talk for today, quote, one word from a person who is qualified to be trusted carries more weight than 10,000 words from someone who is not. And therein lies community. Therein lies this idea of meaningful connection, not just superficial encounters and relationships. I want to talk for a minute about hope. We talked about it in the past, but how it can be a powerful antidote to hardship. And here I'm not talking about pie in the sky hope that clings to unrealistic outcomes or fantastical things that are come rescue us or save us. I'm talking about the hope that comes from that inner resolve, that comes from equanimity, that inner determination that builds from our practice. The hope that calls upon our past coping to carry us through. We have a track record. Everyone here has had adversity. and we call upon our response and our coping as a roadmap to get through new challenges. And in that sense, hope is a decision. It's an intention. When we possess hope, we draw on our inner potential and strength. We draw on our equanimity. We draw on all the tools that we've cultivated from our practice. And it's one of the things I most love about this tradition. Mahatma Gandhi led the nonviolent struggle for Indian independence from the British, succeeding against all odds. I mean, I don't think anyone thought he would prevail. And his hope about that was not based on circumstances. His hope didn't rise or fall as things got better or worse. It was based on his unshakable faith in the capacity for good to prevail over evil. For if we just, you know, stick in there, hang in there, we will get this accomplished. And of course, there are times when we all verge on losing hope. It's so awful. I'm going to give up because the problems we face individually and collectively and in the world are daunting. I mean, the world is a mess. But it's again, while we face hardship and challenge head on, we don't run away from it with the hope that we can make a difference, and importantly, with the support of our community. The importance of community cannot be overstated when it comes to dealing with hardship. And that's, as you hear me say often, one reason I am so grateful for this community. It's why we walk this path. So that's dealing with hardships and thoughts on that today. Let's hear your thoughts.